I'm really relatively new to this work. I have now led in a pandemic longer than I have not led in a pandemic. And I didn't know that I would be tackling that in addition to a once-in-a-century economic crisis and dismantling white supremacy in my first term, but here I am. So first and foremost, get it done. First and foremost, I would like to say racism is a public health crisis. Racism is a public health crisis. I stand here today representing Ramsey County and letting you know that one of the first things we did after the murder of George Floyd was in partnership and to amplify the voices of our people of color and Indigenous caucus, particularly our wonderful Ramsey County legislators like Representative Jamie Becker-Finn standing behind me, was pass a resolution to amend our state legislative platform to adopt the goals of the police brutality legislation that they're putting forward. This is robust, common sense legislation that will move the needle and ensure that we stop killing innocent people in the streets. This needs to get done, and it needs to get done this week. But we must not stop there. The racial disparities faced by Black, Brown, and Indigenous people in Minnesota go far beyond policing. We see it in our schools. We see it in housing segregation. We see it in differences in unemployment. We see it in maternal mortality and health outcomes, and we've seen it in COVID outcomes from the very beginning of this crisis. Ramsey County was a leader in pushing for the state to be very transparent and accountable in the differences in how COVID-19 is hitting our communities of color. And the data plays this out. And we've known that it would, because we know that our Black, Indigenous, and people of color are more likely to be in the positions that put them at risk of contracting COVID. We know that they most likely are to be living in conditions with people who have the health conditions that are more likely to put them at risk of experiencing severe outcomes of COVID. We know that they're more likely to not have access to the high quality health care that will protect them from getting COVID and ensure that they get high quality health care right away. So we must get police accountability done this week. It has to happen. And then we must address these other issues because it is a crisis and we have waited long enough. Thank you.